Vasiliy Lomachenko taking on George Kambosos. What are you looking for? What does each guy have to do to win?
First of all, Lomachenko is one of the greatest fighters of our time. He's a two-time Olympic gold medalist. He's a three-division world champion. He solidified all the titles, I believe, in at least one of his weight classes that he was the champ, if not more. But he's a guy that is getting a little longer in the tooth. I want to start with that. I think that this is one of the greatest fighters we've seen in our time, our era, and I think that he's slowing down a little bit. I think that he cannot go out there the way he used to with the motor running at the RPMs that it used to run at. It's got to run at a little bit a different RPM now, a little bit of a lesser RPM now, but I think he's still a tremendous fighter. I think that when it just comes down to the class of the fighter, and I like Kambosos a lot. We've had both those great fighters on our podcast. I like him a lot. I think he's better than people give him credit for, and he was a world champion. Here's the interesting thing. He beat Teofimo Lopez. Am I saying it right?
Teofimo Lopez, yep.
He beat him in a huge upset, Kambosos. And, of course, Teofimo got his first title, made his bones, if you will, by beating Lomachenko. But I think Lomachenko is a different... And I think that Kambosos is better than people give him credit for. He's not a big puncher, even though he dropped Teofimo. He timed him well. He's a guy who's busy enough. He's a guy who's smart enough. He's a guy who can box pretty well. He's a guy who can also go and fight on the inside pretty well. But for the most part, he's a guy who likes to time you. He's a guy that likes to box. Lomachenko is a guy that can do anything. He can box on the outside, he give you angles, and he can go get you. Lomachenko at his best, he goes and he gets you by making you miss and then making you pay. He is an aggressive counterpuncher. Roberto Duran was that when he was at his best. Yeah, a lot of people laugh. He wasn't a counter. Yes, he was. He was an aggressive counterpuncher. What is counterpunching? It means make a guy miss and counter. Whether you're going backwards or forward, as long as you're doing that. And that is what Roberto Duran did, and that's what Lomachenko does at his best. He comes forward, he makes you miss, and he counters right back. And he takes control of you. And he hits you, and he doesn't let you hit him. For the most part, that's what Loma, at his best, looks to do in a fight. I just don't think he can do it again consistently the way he used to, round in and round out anymore. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. At the end of the day, I think class. And by using that term, I am not disparaging Kambosos in any way. I think I made it clear. I think he's a better fighter than people think. He's a good fighter. I am not in any way disparaging him. But I think the class of the fighter is going to show. The question mark for me is, how much does Loma have left? Let me tell you something about Loma. He's not a huge puncher anymore. He never was huge, but he was a better puncher at featherweight. Then he moved up to lightweight. Then he moved up to junior lightweight, and now he's lightweight. So he's not a huge puncher. Either one are. So knockouts is tough. But you know where you could get a knockout? You could get a stoppage if you want to take a little play on the under? Body. He's a good body puncher, Loma.
Well, here you go. I was going to give you the props because you can take, if you like Loma to stop inside the distance, you can take Loma by KO and get $212 back on a $100 bet, which seems like really good value.
Yeah, it is, okay. But I'm not taking him by KO. I don't know how. I would possibly think about, look, it figures to go the over, and I like Loma to win.
Minus 190 on Loma by decision.
I'm not
which is better than the minus 850.
Yeah, I'm not laying that kind of wood on a guy who's getting older. I just finished saying he's getting older. I'm not laying
Yeah.
that kind of wood. What I might do, the fight's in Australia, right?
Yep.
Down under. The backyard of the home country of Kambosos. Is there a possibility it's a close enough fight that they give a favorable decision to the guy from down under? Is that possible?
Well, you can get great value there. Plus 840 on Kambosos by decision.
I'm taking it. Now, let me make it clear, because people have cotton in their ears out there. You know that, Ken. They don't clean their ears. Our fans, sometimes they're great, but they don't always clean their ears. Okay? So clean your ears a little. Use that little cotton stick, that thing, that swab, right? And move some of that wax out of the way. I am saying that I like Lomachenko to win a fight, but we're talking about placing bets with my bookie right now. I don't want to lay $800, $900 on Loma at this point in his career. I think he's going to win. Class is going to tell. It's going to come. Cream is going to rise to the top. But I am going to take a small play. I think it's a smart, reasonable play. A small play at how much are you going to give me for decision for Kambosos? You're going
On
to
the
give
decision,
me what?
you're going to get plus, for George by decision, plus $840.
All right, give me that. Give me a small play. Come on, small play. $50, $100, whatever. $50, whatever. Give me a small play on Kambosos. I'm saying it again. I think Loma is my man to win. But a small play at that, at home, in Australia, with a fighter who is getting older, even though he's a great, great fighter, yeah. I think it's worth taking a little play on Kambosos for that. And then it figures to go the distance. You got to lay a lot for the over, though, right? Yeah, you got to lay 300 or something.
Yeah, well, if you want to just say, will the fight go the distance? Yes, is minus 275. Or you could take the under, over 10.5 is minus 360.
And what's under?
If you want to get the under, you're getting plus 238 under 10.5. And will the fight go the distance? No, is plus 190.
So again, take $20, that maybe you're going to spend on cigarettes. You shouldn't smoke, by the way. Smoking is bad. Very bad. Very bad. And cigarettes are about $400 a pack now anyway. So take the $20 or whatever it is, and put it on the chance that Lomachenko is going to land a nice body shot, and maybe, or somebody is, and maybe you're going to get a comeback for the under. You're going to get a nice little comeback on the under, But betting aside, odds aside, all of that aside, what the lines are, props, I do think it'll go the distance, and I do think Lomachenko will win a decision, but I gave you my reasons for taking those plays with my coach.